請大家埋位啊！我哋而家
Please return to your seats.
如果委
All right, if there are no other questions from members, I now put the EC 2015-16-3 to a vote. Would those in favor please raise your hands? Chairman, you want to claim division? No, yet? What? Chairman, well, we have a problem here. You haven't asked if we want to ask questions. I did. Well, Mr. Albert Chan, you want to ask questions? All right, Mr. Albert Chan, I already gave you 5 minutes to ask questions just now. The situation was special. It's urgent. So if there are no other questions, I will put this paper to a vote. EC 2015-16, number 3. You want to claim a division? 5 minutes.
現在開始。
Voting begins. Before I declare the voting result, members, please check your votes. The voting is closed. The result is displayed. 34, 3 against, no abstention. I declare the proposal passed. We now move on to item 2 for separate voting. EC 2015-16-4. The members are invited to approve the creation of the post of Deputy Chief Fire Officer of the Fire Services Department with immediate effect for implementing quality assurance and training accreditation mechanisms. And we have in attendance from the government.
助理處長梁偉雄先生，有冇議員想？
Mr. John Lee, Undersecretary for Security, Mr. Alex Chan, PAS for Security, Mr. Lee, Deputy Director of Fire Services, and Mr. Joseph Leung, Assistant Director. Does any member wish to speak? Please press your button if you wish to speak. If there are no questions, Mr. Ray Chan. Well, please press the buttons quickly. React more quickly, please. I can tell you, after I have read it out, I won't. Well, it's not shown on the screen, so press the button now. Well, I don't see that on the screen.
唔係咁啊，大家。
All right, calm down. Calm down. Be nice. Press your buttons quickly. Don't blame the machine. You just press it too slowly. If you want to ask a question, well, you just started this item. Please save the argument. Mr. Ray Chan, 5 minutes. Well, if you continue, I will move a motion to adjourn. Mr. Ray Chan, don't waste time. 5 minutes. I don't know who is wasting time. Well, this is to implement quality assurance and training accreditation mechanisms. Well, I just read the paper today, and I am really concerned about the Fire Services Department's unable to recruit manpower. If you don't have flour, even if you have a good baker, you won't be able to do good bakery. I don't know whether you have read the news. 45% of the posts are not filled. I don't know whether our quality is deteriorating or that people just don't prefer to work in the Fire Services Department. According to today's news, well, the candidates couldn't pass the recruitment the physical fitness test. They couldn't even tie shoelaces. Mr. Ray Chan, what's the relevance of your question to the quality assurance and training accreditation? It's relevant. If you don't have quality candidates as firemen, well, now, please understand this is about the policy. Please let me finish. Well, we have the PWSC and the ESC to discuss in detail the issues, including the ones you mentioned just now. Because the matter has been discussed by the ESC before, so please don't talk about policy here. Focus on the paper. But I understand your approach. I haven't been restricting your freedom to speak here. Please follow the rules. Well, but this issue has just emerged. I'm reading from today's newspaper, but you were talking about policy matters. But it's still related. Why don't you allow me to use my 5 minutes and for the government to answer? Why did you bicker with me? Well, but this need to establish the practice. You shouldn't discuss policy here. You should discuss it at other committees.
There are really these rules. I will discuss with the three of you later, okay? Let's go back to the point. Mr. Chan Chi-chun, in the future, please do not argue on policies. Well, you are always absent in the establishment subcommittee. I would like to challenge you. How many minutes have you spent at the establishment subcommittee? Mr. Leung Kwok-hong, you are challenging me, but how? Well, traditionally, the chairman will not work at the PWSC and the ESC at the same time. You did not even attend the council meeting. Chairman, do you allow my questions? Okay, once only, but I will tell you, in the future, we will tighten this up because we should not be discussing policies here. I am asking about the phenomenon about the lack of flour. Okay, please come back to this item. Have you finished your questions? I think you are bullying us because the Pan Democrats are not here. Well, we are resorting to reasons. So, are you asking the question? I have asked it already. Please ask the administration to answer. You are outrageous as chairman. Deputy Secretary or Under Secretary, Chairman, the FSD will select people among the candidates or applicants. No, the number of applicants reveals that there are 9 to 10 out of 100 applicants. So in other words, we will screen out 90-odd applicants. Among 100 applicants, I only need 9 to 10 people to fulfill our recruitment target. So there are many for us to choose from. We are able to maintain the standard. Some reports were referred to just now saying that the candidates are not in line with our standard. I think this happens every year. When the discipline services recruit people, there are candidates who are not up to standard. But now, among 100 applicants, we only need to select 9 or 10 out of them. So there is a lot of room. And we are able to make sure that the FSD can have people meeting our requirements. We are confident about that. So is it true that 5% of the vacancies cannot be filled, according to that report? Do you want to answer the question? Yes, Chairman. We are in the process of recruitment. So the recruitment process has not ended yet. So far, we haven't filled all the vacancies yet. There are 2,000 odd applicants, and we only want to recruit 200 odd. So we are still in the process of recruitment. We are confident to be able to recruit the necessary number of people. Mr. Leung Kwok Hong, Chairman, you are still recruiting, so theoretically speaking, you cannot say that you can't fill the 45% of the vacancies. I understand you. Now, let me consult you. Why is it that all the positions are filled in the police? According to the report, there are many applicants applying for vacancies in the police. Why is that so? My interpretation is this. We have discussed this many times. The conditions of service are worse than other discipline services. We have customs, the CSD, the police, and also the immigration department for disciplined services. And for the FSD, the conditions of service are worse. Now, if you are seeking money to create position, to implement the fire safety, quality assurance, and training course accreditation mechanism, well, this is definitely essential to maintain quality. Just now, Mr. Chan Chi-chun asked the question already. Overall speaking, if the conditions of service are poor, this can't be resolved. It is no use to create a position. I'm not against creation of a position. But then I think you need to review the root of the problem. Why is it that this position involves threat to life, but still the conditions of service and working hours are so bad? That's one problem. You want to create a permanent position to review something that we have been talking about for such a long time. Mrs. Regina Ip is very close to the Firemen's Union, and Mr. Michael Teen is not here. Mr. Michael Teen and Mrs. Regina Ip talked about this many times, and you cannot really give a proper explanation. The only difference between FSD and other disciplined services is that firemen do not carry guns. for those officers who need to carry guns, they may die because of such weapons. But then firemen may also die in fire accidents. So you want to seek funding if the content is to review points made by many LegCo members, then I will grant you the money. We cannot ask the government to spend 1 cent more. That's the rule. So on one hand, you want to create this position. At the same time, we cannot propose to create another position to tackle the most important point, according to my opinion. So you must give an account to this council. That is this permanent position on quality assurance and training course accreditation. Will this cover a detailed review of what I said just now? Fire safety quality assurance is related to staff morale. So even if there is a training course accreditation mechanism, how can you make sure that there are more applicants applying for the post? Or how can you make sure that staff morale is high and there will be lower turnover? I think my question is very reasonable. So when you seek funding approval, why don't you create a position for this purpose? When you work on this, why don't you also cover the point that I just mentioned? Please, do you understand me? Under Secretary, Chairman, Mr. Leung's point is not correct. You just referred to the police, saying that all the vacancies are filled. In fact, the same happens to the FSD. This year, our recruitment goal is 200-odd people, but there are 2,500-odd applicants. So, as I said just now, out of 100 applicants, we select only 5 to 10 people. So in other words, there are many more people than enough for us to choose from. So that means the FSD vacancies are attractive. There are still oversupply of applicants or candidates. The number of applicants is a few times that of the number of vacancies. Mr. Abachan? 5 minutes. Chairman, I seldom agree with government officials, but I must say that to a certain extent I agree with the Undersecretary, because I have many friends who find it difficult to get jobs in the FSD because of physical requirement. Competition is intense, but this position is a senior position, Deputy Chief Fire Officer. I'm sure that this position will be filled by internal promotion. Whenever the government creates a position, Undersecretary, I am not targeting at you personally. In recent years, we saw a lot of friendly alliances and ties, and also transfer of benefits and so on. FSD in the past had good reputation. There were fewer scandals. Apart from the bullying incident of newcomer, there were even criminal offenses involved. I guess the Undersecretary is handling these matters. I hope that it will not become a general phenomenon with regards to bullying in the FSD. When these positions are created, how can you convince the public? Because in any bureaucracy, very often, according to sociology experts, you tend to expand your structure in an unnecessary way. As a result, public funds are wasted. We see a lot of such examples in the PWSC. Very often, supporters of projects or programs are related to their family members. Our chairman also wears many hats. Well, Albert Chan, you can only say this with evidence. You belong to which company? I am only a consultant of a company. I don't know how many positions you have. Please don't refer to your family members. Chairman, I'm saying that you wear a lot of hats. Okay, we can be vague in other things. Albert Chan, please do not refer to these redundant things. You can kick me out. Chairman Chan Kin-po wears many hats. This can be recorded. Albert Chan, please do not say nonsense things. I'm saying that Chan Kin-po has many positions. He has a lot of interest in insurance. Well, I think what you said is really ungrounded. You don't allow all these remarks. You are attacking myself personally. I think you are doing a lot of damage to the Hong Kong public. During meetings, you should not be scolding people. I think you should not revert to all these nonsensical remarks. Albert Chan wants this point to be recorded. Chan Kin-po has many positions. As senior officer in an insurance company, he has a lot of interests. What kind of interest do I have? Please elaborate. These are not personal attacks. What evidence do you have? You are insulting me. This is a big deal. What kind of person are you? Albert Chan, please refer to the facts. Well, he makes use of his position as chairman to suppress members' remarks. Let's take a break for 5 minutes. You don't allow me to ask questions. You have wasted 3 minutes of mine. Let's take a break for 5 minutes.